celluloid, and we're turning it into music and podcast for you.
We'll never consent. No.
That is absolutely staying in the beginning of this episode. Thank you. Welcome to another episode of We Came From Celluloid. I am Nicky P here as always with my good friend Brian. I'm going to be honest, I'm not even going to try and pronounce the number of consonants that you have in order.
It's Tlaloc. It's Tlaloc Rodriguez is joining us today.
That's the hard part. It's just two syllables. Tlalok. Or Tlalok, that works.
So I was already wrong. I took a step, but I was wrong. So Loke is how you like Loki.
Yeah, Tlalok.
Now, what is the ethnic background of that name?
Hey man, no, you don't. That was pretty close. It's Aztec. People always ask that. I bartend, and I have this interaction constantly. The worst is when they're about to walk away. Oh wait, thanks. What was your name, by the way? I'm like, I was like, this is gonna be an extra couple minutes. But
call me Big T, buddy. Have a good night.
So it's Aztec. I'm Mexican. Mine is spelled slightly different. Traditionally, it's with a C, but my mom wanted to be hip with a K in.
Okay, that sounds like so my background for a long time was comparative religion, and so in college I did a little work with the Aztec religion. Is that something like you people keep traditional in your family? Like, I know there are some places that is still pretty mystic down there. Or is that just kind of like just a tradition thing?
For me, like my whole family is Catholic, and that's kind of like I have a bit of a quarrel with religion because I feel like they burned all the books and we only know so much, and they like all the languages are dead, and so I mean that's why we speak Spanish. And but they,
Well, that's how I got into comparative religion. Was I was a lapsed Catholic, and it's like, I don't know how I feel about this Catholicism thing, but I want to learn about all the other ones, and so that's kind of how I started my journey through religions and stuff. We had to read in one of my courses. We had to read a whole bunch of stuff on like I think it was a class on witchcraft specifically, and there's a lot of Aztec stuff behind that, I guess. So, well, you don't need to represent anything. Representing, that's just fascinating stuff to me.
No, and it's funny because like I was trying to get a handle on what would be considered, if anything, your main project, right? Like you play in a lot of bands. Like what the impression that I get as an outside observer is that you're a gigging musician who is taking on an interesting assortment of work, right? But I'm curious within that, like, do you have something that you consider your main project? And are you a writer as well? You know what I mean? Are you creating your own original material in addition to supporting other people's, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great question. So my name's Tlaloc, and I use that as a band name. So I do full band sets under Tlaloc, and we have original music. I still haven't dropped like my first album of originals yet. I've just been really behind in all the recording stuff, and I feel like every year, first it was like juggling full-time work and school and gigging. Then I graduated, and now I'm just like, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm falling behind. So I'm trying to release more stuff under Tlaloc.
Yeah, now what's your excuse, buddy?
Exactly. I'm trying to release more stuff under Tlaloc. And my other core groups are Los Mipoteros. It's my Latin band. We dropped a live album on January 1st. And then I've got a Bee Gees tribute that's been doing pretty good. We're called Night Fever MKE. There's too many Night Fevers, so we're trying to get creative. Maybe Night Beaver, maybe the Squeegees. A lot of the good ones are taken. The GBs staying alive.
I mean, are your vocals on point? That's all I care about.
I'm proudly holding down vocal number 5. I am way in the background, but I do some falsetto. And I sing lead on I Started a Joke, which is one of their ballads.
Oh, I know the song well.
So you have original music, but of the released stuff at this point, it is a live album that you put out this January, and the Tlaloc project. You have material you're out performing, but it's not recorded and available at this point.
I have one original out it's under Tlaloc. I'm on all streaming platforms. So I released an original called I Am Me. It's like a hip hop, psychedelic, you know, slam poetry kind of vibe. And then outside of that, I just dropped the Christmas album, and I did a cover off the Nightmare Before Christmas soundtrack. So I think that's kind of the highlight of the whole thing. And I had a sax player. It was just like an acoustic duo setup. But that's something you can find under Tlaloc, and hopefully by the end of the year, I'm gonna have a live album released. It's something I recorded 2 years ago. There's a couple originals on it, but I haven't mixed it yet, and I'm yet to release it. And I feel like now, like the time's getting there, I'm like the time is coming, and I'm trying to make it happen.
So do you get into the recording arts side of it personally then, as opposed to leaning on other people for that?
I think I've been trying to work with other people because I'm understanding my limitations and what I'm actually able to take on fully. I've done some recording work like at home by myself. I've got Logic, I've got an interface, I've got a bunch of microphones, you know, but it's nice to go into a place and let the guy do his job and I do my job if that's an option, you know, if it, and so yeah, I've got some studio time under my belt for sure, and things in the works.
Well, it's funny, you know, like Nick, for example, recorded with my other project, Dome. You were asking before we turned the mics on about, you know, the shared projects. Like I've been playing with a group of guys since I was 12 years old, you know, and I'm 43 now. So there's a group of musicians that we've sort of managed to keep together for almost 30 years. Nick has helped record stuff for that project, even when he wasn't involved. And then like one of the Dome guys who's been helping out with, you know, recording the Puma Thurman record. It was cool, like, because, you know, when Nick wanted to do some of his vocals, I remember him sort of specifically saying, like, he thought he would get better results working with an engineer like that, like getting to just kind of show up and concentrate on the performance, right? As opposed to, even if you know how to do it, my point is there's something to be said for not needing to run back and forth and just getting to be the talent for a change, right? So.
And yeah, there's some guys like, you know, I see it the same way as like I am on my music journey. There are guys that are just as dedicated to that side. And I'm like, shit. Like I see that as like as its own art as well, you know.
That's true. The guy that we recorded with, that came very much to my mind in terms of like noticing the difference when we did pay to work with like a professional with pedigree and who's really planted their flag in the artistry of recording. They can extract new life inside it and really do some things. You know, I guess I'm also curious on the business side, like you're an interesting example on the tour, man, where I just, number one, just want to say thank you, right? That our stop in Milwaukee and this opportunity and everything, like it came about because you saw a post that I made and raised your hand and like intervened to help, man. And I love doing that for people. I love being a good host here in town. But over these last 30 years, I've sort of found that like I sadly don't find that many people that are kind of just naturally wired that way. And so number one, just thank you. I really, really appreciate it. How long has the business side been a piece of the puzzle for you, man? Like, you know, and how long have you been playing at all? Were you in high school bands and stuff?
Oh yeah, of course. So there's a lot to unpack there. Before I talk about myself, for this upcoming show, you know, I didn't really think about this much, but like maybe this is off the record. Do you guys have a place to crash?
Oh, yeah, we do. Thank you for asking. For sure, man.
Well, because are you guys spending the night and hitting it right away, or like what's the game? Are you rolling into town that Tuesday and heading out the next day for the next gig.
Our one of the guys in Dome and Puma Thurman lived in Chicago for 7 or 8 years, so knows that town really well. We've got a Sunday night in Chicago, and then we're taking that Monday off and just kind of hanging back. That's one of our days off, and we're gonna hang there. The drive from Chicago till Milwaukee's what, like 90 minutes or something, right? So, like, we're gonna get in as early as anybody wants to on the day of the show, and have I've never been to Milwaukee actually before. It's not that far away, but I have not had an opportunity to visit the city before.
Well, I'm trying to hook things up more. Like, I've got some more connections that I've been trying to use more. So I book music at a place that's actually across the street from Last Rites, and the owner there, he owns an Airbnb, and sometimes we can, like, maybe this would be for a separate trip, but we can potentially host you guys and put you up for the night and give you like a guaranteed pay. So that's kind of like the ideal scenario, right? In terms of like looking out.
Well, the idea, as much, of course it is, yes, and high level, man. Having been doing this for 30 years, even though I only met Nick 10 years ago, he's been doing this for 30 years, right? But neither one of us has ever done this before. Have you? Whoa, whoops, I almost lost my stuff. Have you beyond Chicago and regional stuff, have you done a version of this, like doing like a multi-stop tour kind of thing?
I've pretty much been stuck here in Milwaukee. I've done a handful of gigs in Chicago, Minneapolis. I drove out to Detroit twice, but it was for like a Hanukkah gig, so I don't think that counts.
Why not? What's wrong with Hanukkah?
I did like a private event in Indiana, so that's about as far as I've pushed it. But I'm trying to get out there. I've hosted a lot of touring bands before. It's easy to book a show. It's hard to book a good show that's gonna get you a lot of money. Last Rite, you guys are coming on a Tuesday during Summerfest. I got us at Last Rites, where they cut us a percentage of bar sales deal, and we can lean into the merch sales and the idea that you guys are from Cleveland. I'm trying to think about that.
Well, it sounds like you've maybe earned some brownie points above and beyond us, where maybe at a certain point the key to unlocking those tour dates is, you look at the route, you think about the relationships you have, including in Cleveland, and it's just like, it's like, hey man, I'm calling in those can you return me the favor, kind of situations, dude. Like, I've been trying to open those doors for people for years, but that's part of my comment of saying, like, I feel like I don't meet a lot of people who like take it seriously that way. Like, there were bands in like Columbus or like from Cleveland where within a 2-hour radius, you've got Detroit, Columbus, and Pittsburgh are all like semi-major markets, and yeah, like somehow I've never managed to really get a good like show trade situation going with anybody. But anyway, yeah. So it sounds like you're hoping to not only would you be more likely to want to take the originals or look at something like the Bee Gees and go like, yeah, that obviously has a better money making potential, but how else do you build a fan base except to take the gospel out on the road, right?
Yeah, that's kind of why I've been pushing the Tlaloc brand. That's more like something I can push for like a private event. Like, it's very niche and it's gonna make us money and people like it around here. But I do all sorts of shit like that. I've done Grateful Dead tribute. I'm actively doing a Sublime tribute. Nirvana versus Green Day. Michael Jackson.
Okay, what's the Sublime tribute? What's the Sublime tribute?
Well, we just played our first show, and I just did it as Tlaloc, and I brought a trio.
You just did it as Tlalok?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't necessarily have a band name. We were just Sublime tribute at Zocalo. We got paid nicely, and
I've always wanted to start a Sublime tribute, but it was going to be the fat Sublime tribute. Like, everybody was going to be plus sized, and we were going to be called Big Salty Tear.
that's pretty good. Well, it's not too late for the idea. I don't want to lean into it. I don't want to lean into it too hard and give it its own name, and just kind of keep it as like a special thing.
Well, and I guess I'm curious because it's one of the ingredients of our world, and no big deal if the answer is just not really too. But like, between these many different acts, what else are you into? Is movie pop culture stuff on your radar? Do you have other hobbies and interests? Like, what other stuff are you into, my dude?
I tend to not know a lot of famous movies, but I don't know. I try to keep up with the times. My girlfriend likes horror movies. Good question. Definitely aliens. I definitely like all the religions point to one sign, and it's just different interpretations of the same thing. So that's one thing.
Oh, my mind went for a minute to like the alien movies and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like in the horror movie realm. But you're saying that one of your interests is like alien life and extraterrestrials, that sort of thing. Very cool. Okay. Love it.
I'm a bartender on the side. Work at this place. Azoko place I was just telling you about. I also bartend there. I've been doing it for 2 years. Yeah, I help run this farmers market. I think farmers markets are a cool vibe.
You're a very interesting man. What are you doing in growing yourself? You talk farmers markets. Do you like make grow your own vegetables at all?
Yeah, Nick's got a home garden and stuff like that. That's actually a topic.
Really, no, I don't have much of a green thumb. I just like it. I usually end up, I try to book as many farmers markets gigs as I can. Go check that out. Grew up going to that kind of.
So you're performing at those at the farmers markets as well, doing music there?
Mostly, yeah, mostly.
No, it's funny, Nick's huge into Christmas, by the way, and it occurred to me like, because he got excited when you mentioned the Christmas album. It's like I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, you have to be pretty serious about Christmas at the point that you acknowledged earlier that you hadn't made time yet to do some of the original recordings that you wanted to. The fact that you prioritized and made a Christmas album. You love Christmas.
Yeah, and I didn't cop out and write a Christmas song. That shit's lame. I did the fucking.
Okay, you didn't try to do a simply having a wonderful Christmas time kind of, throw your hat in the ring.
I'm happy with what I did, but it was a little thrown together. There's like one where the vocals were peaking, and I just couldn't do anything about it, and I didn't want to scratch it, so I just fucking used it, So it's definitely like not something I'm super super proud of, but the video is cool, and I played with this saxophone player who's like in his late, mid 60s. I've been getting to know him, and we've been building a rapport, and so like we had a cool thing going. I tried doing like hipper.
See, that's super interesting to me because so after years I've done the acoustic duo thing, and I'm kind of find myself without somebody to play with right now. But I've always done like 2 guys, 2 guitars. But when I think at heart what I really want is I just want to have a sax player to play along with. Like that to me feels like the perfect vibe, and I've yet to find the sax player for my project. You got to be cool doing the old school stuff and playing the Coheed and Cambria.
There's a lot of money in the duo stuff. I said I can find you a sax player in Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
By all means, I'll take you up on it.
Facebook is powerful, my friend. I'm in all the group. I'm in all the chats, dude. I'm in all that shit. So I'm like, there's ways to connect, especially like the jazz community is like, it's all connected,
I had one sax player message me off of like a Craigslist post, and I'm going to be honest, I got a little up in my own head, like, because I hadn't been gigging in a while, and like this dude had like some actual, we'll say some chops, and so had a bit of a pedigree behind him, and it kind of spooked me a little bit. Like, I don't want to waste this dude's time. He like plays with orchestras and shit. What am I bringing to the table?
You'd be surprised. You'll find the right guy, especially like an open jam.
Well, and I think like that violin player I mentioned the album Nick helped us record. We put it out under the Dome name. If you look up Dome on any of the streaming platforms, you find the two albums that we've had out for forever. Watch the Rivers Run Red and The Circus. I put out another album that was like all instrumentals, and we did it with a violin player actually doing what normally would have been the second guitar parts. And sort of like you were saying with the Sublime tribute, it was like, I don't want to come up with a new band name like just for this one-off like 6 songs that we wanted to do with this guy. But you reminded me of it also just because, like, again, he's a classical musician. He's a trumpet player and a violin player, and he plays with orchestras and he does all those things, but he loves metal and like nothing in his musical life ever really got him to scratch that itch for like being in a metal band, like getting to rock out with some dudes on stage like that. And so, like, yeah, it's like he never sat there and was asking for.
You found the specific guy where that was his niche, right? And y'all connected on that.
Exactly. And so, yeah, I thought that same thing, right? As far as like Nick feeling like he was wasting the guy's time, like, dude probably wouldn't have raised his hand except that, like, there's something missing for him, right? Like, why else would he respond and reach out except he's trying to find that missing piece as well, So. Oh no, I'm curious. We've got this thing when you sent over the flow for our gig. We've got like that last half hour sort of like jam session part of it. Tell me about who's I know who's involved on my side. Who are the players that what sort of little thing can we put together, man?
Well, I'm gonna just see who we can throw up there. I'm really excited about this one guy, Bob Hemp. He's listed on there. I met him because he's an amp repair guy, and he came out to one of my shows, and like we just started talking music, and then like my drummer was like hitting it off with him, talking about music. So this is actually going to be our first show with him, and I don't think he gets to play out much. So I'm hoping that he brings out some friends or some family, And and since we're right before that, I'm hoping he stays up there on the guitar, or if he wants to. Like I'll fill in the blanks. I don't know what's gonna happen. Yeah, we'll see who's still around, and I'll.
I write a lot on guitar, but I'm not always great in a jam session. Like I think of myself being a competent guitar player. I dare say I'm a good songwriter. I love the stuff I write, obviously. That's why I write it. But I don't know guitar, like, scales and stuff quite well enough to, like, get in there. Normally, if I'm jamming with somebody on guitar, like, I'm still approaching it the way I write other stuff, which is, like, I'm kind of looking for my riff that I can loop on top of what somebody else is doing. And I really enjoy it, but like, yeah, for a jam session like that, probably gonna personally add the most value on the drums, but also happy to take turns and share and all the things. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see what comes out of that little 30-minute sesh.
Yeah, anything goes. Another thing is that it might be a cushion if the show falls off the rails and we're 30 minutes behind, we've got that as a backbone.
I've never seen a show get 30 minutes behind in my life, but
you're being sarcastic or what, Nick?
No, I'm not at all. The shows always run late.
Well, somebody said in the chat that's a lot of music for a Tuesday night. Like, well, shit, you guys are coming on a Tuesday. Like, we're gonna put it in, dude. And I think that's the way to. It's the way to go with like a percentage of bar sales thing. Like we're pitching like an experience, and that's what you guys are doing. You guys are 4 acts, so we're gonna do it up, but I'm also keeping the number of people down, just like you guys are, like trying to make it make sense.
So one of the things I am curious about, like we've talked about your music a little bit and some of the stuff that you do, I still like don't have a firm grasp on like what kind of music you like under your name play like with a band, like what, especially considering like I know the bands that we're bringing. I'm looking for that thread that made you think I'm gonna go play music with these guys.
Well, like I said, I have a lot of projects. So the only gig that I can't take is a country gig. I can do some, but not enough to be like a country band. Outside of that, I got it already. So there's one band.
You'll appreciate this. So a number of years ago, I'm Brian's probably heard this before, but I was we used to gig around the Erie area, and my drummer would just randomly call bars and like pretend he's a manager, even though he's our drummer, because people take a manager more seriously, makes you seem more professional. Mind you, he would do this when he was supposed to be doing an actual job at Rent-A-Center. Like, I don't know how much money he made me while he was at Rent-A-Center, but he would also tell them no matter what they asked that we were capable of playing it. And so we kind of never knew what we were getting ourselves into with one of his shows. And I want you to keep in mind that we were a 3-piece band with a piano player, a bass player, and a drummer who mostly did a lot of like Oasis and Strokes covers. And one night, usually we kept it pretty good. We all had enough background we could make some weird shit work. And this night we absolutely did.
Were you on, what instrument were you on?
I was on heavily affected bass for this band. I essentially played lead guitar and bass simultaneously. But we walk into this bar. I walk in. I look like this. I walk immediately back out. I'm like, what the fuck did you get us into? Are you out of your goddamn? We're gonna get killed tonight. As I was looking around, I saw nothing but animal skin, camo, and like wood panel. And you flip a few little pages on the jukebox, and all I've got is Merle Haggard and Pantera. None of which are what we do. Somehow, we I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Blues Brothers, but we managed to pull off what they did. You know, like they do rawhide to get them through the night. We're playing like the 3 country songs that we know, like trying to like we did some very interesting things that night to keep that crowd happy. But I swear to God, I was going to strangle Tommy on our way out. what do you? Dude, you got to do a little bit better than this.
What were the couple country covers you did? Do you remember?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm sure we did a cover of "Friends in Low Places" because everybody knows it. I know our keyboard player knew a couple like old classic Vince Gill songs from a band he used to be in back in the day. I probably pull a Dwight Yoakam song or two because like I come from that space, but you know we also, as opposed to dive, like we try to dig more into like the classic rock stuff that we knew, as opposed to sitting in like all the modern, you know, indie stuff that like was what we were kind of trying to. That's the bands that we were playing out with when we were playing original shows, is like modern indie of the era. And yeah, we made it out and they paid us.
I was just saying, like, that there's a weird middle. You're just the idea of fitting into whatever room you're in, right? And Cleveland is a metal town, you know. There's a lot of like that's more a lot of the scene in Cleveland is metal bands, and we have distorted guitar and some screaming vocals in Dome, more melodic than heavy, but he screams sometimes in Dome. But on any given metal bill, more, I don't know, hard rock, alternative metal, like we sound more like Soundgarden, you know, than we do like Cannibal Corpse, certainly, you know what I mean? And so to be playing in a room of like real metal bands, they wouldn't dig us. But it's funny how any screaming at all turns off a lot of mainstream, you know, people, right? You know what I mean? Like anything in that like remotely heavy, and you are to them an angry metal band, you know. So it's interesting. I mean, but by and large, though, like I just trust that people in any given room like me listen to all sorts of music. Like all of us, we all listen to all sorts of music. I assume that anybody else, you know, who's standing there, that there's going to be at least a couple people who are into it. But you always find people that can be kind of genre snobs about whatever they're into, right? And it's like, yeah, if you're not
It happens with every genre. Same thing with jazz, just like the metal.
interesting, so you run into jazz snobs that are like, no, this isn't real enough jazz for the room. I mean, that actually does surprise me. I think of jazz being like, there are no board lines, there's no boundaries, you know, you can't put any of it in a box, right?
So, you know, you see, you're mistaken, and I understand this because I've known jazz people, but it's, I don't know if you've ever read the book. There's a book out there about Zen. It's like written by this guy who worked on the Godzilla movies, and he's like, everyone thinks of Zen masters as being like these very woo centered individuals that are like all, you know, really nice and shit. And it's like, but really what you find is that like anyone who's worked that hard at any of their craft is super, super opinionated. Like, these are the lines, this is exactly how it's supposed to be. And if you don't do it, you're absolutely wrong. And certainly my experiences with jazz musicians, man, there's a lot of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of very opinionated jazz snobs for sure. Just as there is in the that's more what I'm used to as opposed to dealing with like the metal guys, because I just say right away, I'm like, "But down is as good as it gets." And if that is,
Did you say Madonna?
I said System of a Down.
Oh, I'm like, there's a little bit of a lag. So over here, I heard Madonna's as good as it gets. I'm really Madonna.
Is that what you heard, Brian?
Papa don't preach, man, that's heavy.
I mean, I have my arguments about System of a Down. I think they're okay, but
Well, just in terms of my personal taste, like I've heard metalheads say that System of a Down.
I'd rather listen to the Bee Gees if we're being honest.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Like there's some stuff I was talking Nick and I oddly enough just on Monday, right, where I was saying within the world of metal, there's sometimes where if it's just screamy vocals, I can still be into it, even though I don't really like that, because there's things that maybe are going on inside the like virtuoso guitar, or what the rhythm section doing that I am finding really appealing and interesting, and trying to sort of absorb into the mix, you know. I'm curious, man. Like we always like to at the end of these play. For anybody who's been listening, have a song to play, and so give some thought to it. And I know we don't have one like now, but like I'd love for you to send something over that we can put on the end of this. Whether that's the one, you know, and you already said that you don't have a ton of stuff recorded, so live recordings, whatever you want. But what's something that we could maybe share with our audience?
Would I be able to send over like a YouTube video that I like of me playing an original?
You can send over whatever you like. And if you don't, I'm going to find whoever that person is you've been looking at off camera, and we're just going to get a video of you in the shower, and we're going to put that up at the end.
It's actually just me and you. I just keep looking for shit.
Well, and then as far as the online, like in the time that I've known you, you launched a new website, it looked like, as well. So where do people go to find all of your projects and you know the main website?
There's like a motorcycle driving by. Did you guys hear that? There was like a motorcycle driving by. Oh, it was really loud over here. So just Tlaloc.com.
I use I have the noise reduction turned on here, and it works very well.
Okay, good. So it's just Tlaloc.com, TLALOK.com. You can find out about my projects. I have like a Spotify playlist with all of my studio work. And it's pretty much in order of my favorite stuff, so it's very biased. And I've got a playlist on SoundCloud with some live recordings. I think live recordings end up capturing my sound the best, and so I'm gonna be releasing a series of live recordings, actually, like stuff that's well done, hopefully, and properly mixed. Um, but yeah, so Tlaloc.com is the best way to find out about all my endeavors. That's the main brand and the main band name that I'm trying to push.
Love it. Do you do studio work like as a hired gun as well? Like, could somebody want to pick you up as a bass player and send you tracks and just have you add stuff to, you know, the recording, send it back, that kind of thing?
Absolutely. And my best work that I did doing that was with this band from Chile. It's this guy that I connected with while he was here in Milwaukee, and then he actually moved back to Chile. But so I sent him my bass parts, which I recorded remotely, and we released a full length album together. The project is called Camino Astral. We currently only have 2 singles out, but I plan to slowly release the rest until we get to that full album.
Fun, man. Well, I'm down to you know, play around in those spaces as well. I'm excited. The other guy that I mentioned, the other recording engineer in my band Dome, he just got a new house where we're gonna have a drum kit kind of permanently mic'd up and ready to record at any given time. A little mini studio setup that, you know, has been a goal for a long time. And even though it's not my house, you know what I mean? It is my drum set and my friend. And so it's like, I feel like that's going to open up some fun, interesting doors as far as opportunities to not be limited by geography and getting to collaborate on fun stuff. So I'm excited to hang out in Milwaukee, dude, and get more familiar with each other's musical endeavors. You know, by all means, like, it would be so cool to get to host you out here. And yeah, just I appreciate your time tonight. As I said before, I can't thank you enough for making our Milwaukee stop even possible and hooking us up with an opportunity, man. And it means the world. Thank you.
I wanted to add in a couple things to go back to some Nick said earlier, because you said you're still not sure what kind of music I make. So the video I'll send will kind of straighten that out. Like I'd say I'm more in like the R&B realm. The tune I have out is more of like a trip hop tune. So I rap a little, I sing, but it's like more melodic, like you say. And that's what my personal stuff ends up being like. I have a bossa.
If I were to look, I would assume you're doing like a Nako kind of thing.
I might be doing like some indie bossa nova kind of vibe stuff. I've got that sort of repertoire in the works as well. So that ends up being my ballpark. But in terms of what you'll hear at Last Rites, when I play with Tlaloc, the Tlaloc band featuring Bob Hemp, this is going to be totally off the rails. Everything's going out the window. There's no set list. There's just a clock, and we're gonna make up stuff on the spot. We're not gonna play any covers. Just kind of try to improvise our way through it and get to know each other as musicians. And I think it's gonna be hip. You know, we're going for like an Alan Holdsworth thing.
Dude, I am pumped to be in the room to witness it.
We have to send over some of my solo stuff under my Burns to the Soul moniker just to see what you say, since that's very R&B based.
Hell yeah. And then the band I'm playing with, it's called Triptych, where it's going to be our last show as that name because there's a bunch of bands called Triptych, and it was supposed to be temporary, and it's on too long now, and we don't have another one to announce yet, but we have a lot of original music that we want to start releasing, and it's just a really transformative period. So we're going to do this Last Ride show, try to blow it up as our last show ever as Triptych, you know, before we hit them with it.
And what kind of vibe is this Last Rites place? What kind of place is this?
Yeah, and I'd say like punk metal, like Milwaukee. It's definitely like, I'd say it's more of a punk scene than it is metal, but you get a lot of metalheads. There's a lot of love between the scene. Like here, there's a lot of overlap. But I wouldn't say I'm super hip to the metal scene, because here in Milwaukee, there's like the bluegrass and jam band Grateful Dead fans. That's all one scene. Then you get all the hip hop and R&B guys. You get all the salsa and mariachi groups and the cumbias and that kind of like Latin stuff. And then the indie hip, the indie punk metal original music scene. So there's a lot going on. Not much of a reggae scene, but there are some cats that are true to it.
I was just about to say, where are the Jamaicans at in all this? Jamaicans are where they always are, by themselves.
There's like one big reggae band getting all the gigs. They're holding it down.
My wife hates to go to reggae shows. She said we both love reggae, but she hates to go to the shows because she's too dark, and everyone just assumes she's Jamaican, and it's just too many uncomfortable conversations anytime we go listen to reggae.
Hey, that's fair.
No, I'm not from Jamaica. Well, dude, for me, thank you so much for coming on, and I cannot wait to enjoy a new place. This is both the furthest west I'll have ever been before for that night, and this is my first tour, so I'm pumped in a lot of ways.
Awesome. I wish I could like hook it up so it was like a little more going on, so we could have like a couple different endeavors that night.
Tuesday, man.
Yeah. But like maybe for the next time it'll be like more of a 2-3 day run. I can like try to get some more stuff lined up,
Dude, I'm happy to have a foundation to build upon, man.
That's the idea, right?
If he hasn't hinted at it hard enough, he's saying get your ass to Cleveland.
Yeah. I'm trying. I'm trying to work it out. I'm shooting for late November, but that would be helpful. I'm looking for second or like third or fourth weekend of November, and I'm still trying to figure that out. But that's what I'm shooting for. If you got anything around then.
Well, we have a gig booked. I want to say the first Friday of December, so we're not far off. Isn't it like December 4th, Nick? Was the one that I did lock down. Friday, December 4th, we do have a show as part of a run we're doing with Buddy's band out of Brooklyn. The Cleveland stop in that little mini run. I haven't even completed our first tour, and I'm already trying to plot our second one, but we're doing a small run in December, and Friday, December 4th will be the Cleveland show. And that's close enough to the time that you mentioned that if you think that that's realistic, my dude, consider it done.
I actually, December 4th, I have a gig booked that day. I'm playing at the gig. It's a
Well, then, like I said, we will just keep working on it. And as far as the November one, yeah, as you get a better sense of your options, man, like we'll figure it out. Like anything I can do. I one of the nice things is like me and Nick haven't done actually an acoustic gig together, but I would. With the one, I play drums in both of the bands, but I write a lot of the music and play guitar, like I said before. So I do enjoy doing acoustic duo and trio kind of stuff. So even if we've got a Puma show booked for December 4th, I could see like doing like 23 strings, which is the acoustic thing, or something else that we could put together easily enough for that November time frame. And just, we've got the relationships with the venues and other acts here to make sure that we're doing right by you one way or the other.
That would be huge, man. Thank you. Well, we'll be in touch. And
we're trying to move along between me and Brian. We know people in the vicinity. Like you said, there's a couple major cities around this area that we could definitely get you set up in.
Hell yeah, that's a great idea. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do like a whole little run, some kind of trying to organize some sort of tour for around then. So definitely multiple cities. That's ideal. All right. Well, thank you guys for having.
Well, send us that YouTube video, man. In our little group thread in Facebook. Send over what you want us to use as the last song. And Tlalok.com to keep up with the ever growing and expanding musical tentacles.
Thank you.
reflection of a teal plum. Realize how over time it makes me feel dumb. If I stay, you ain't the only one I could see, but you're just the only thing that makes me sweet. But you got me talking out, just might be burning holes that I just can't breathe. I really feel I'm not the one you wanna hear from. And when I look into your eyes, it's like a steel gun. I'm always drowning by the bottom of the wheel's rum. Or realize how over time it makes me real dumb. If you ain't the only one I could see, but you're just the only thing that makes me sweet. Now you got me talking out, just might be burning holes that I just can't breathe. And I can wallow in this water if you beg me for more. And I can feel it getting wicked through the things I endure. It's always written in this poetry, I've read it before. Instead of I can kiss you in the morning, I will burst in the door.
Celluloid, and we're turning it into music and podcast for you.